Well, good morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. I hope you have had your vitamin C coffee. And welcome to another live. Good morning, Wendy. You're up first. Mike, how are ya? Good to have you on. Len and Judy. Edmonton, isn't it? Mary. Holly from Kansas. Brahim from Portland, Oregon. Yvonne, Nativity, good morning to you. And Kim, good morning to you. Luella, Frances Marie, and she's having her coffee this morning. Keith, how are you, dear friend? Linda, Roland, how are you? Colleen, we appreciate you guys. Frida, and Elise, and Nick from our staff. Another Nicole, we love you. Lorna, good morning. Jeanette, with 2 coffee cups. Wendy said she missed me. Zian, good morning, dear friend. Cheryl, Elaine, Rakaya from Australia. Mary, Troy, our dear friend Dr. Troy in Newfoundland, good morning to you. Sylvie, Grand Falls, North Dakota. Lucy, Chantal, good morning, Chantal, how are you? Diane from Thunder Bay. Nina, Michelle from California, bright and early, good morning to you. Evelyn, Loretta, how you doing? Yolande, I was waiting for you, Yolande. Good morning. Donna, Carol from Virginia, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, Lori, Linda. One of these days I'm going to sing right throughout all of this. You might never come back. Dale, Marcin, good morning. And Jocelyn, good morning. Sturgeon Falls. Another Nicole. Zian, how are you? D'Ottawa and Gail. Guys, let's get going. Marcia, how are you? Okay, let me read to you a study this morning. We're going to pontificate on this. We're going to pontificate on this. Now, this came out of the Journal for Critical Reviews in Food Science. Okay? This is out of the Journal of Critical Reviews in Food Science. What does it say? Meat consumption, according to a meta-analysis of hundreds of papers, studies. Here's their conclusion. Meat consumption is better for depression. Hello, I've talked to you so many times, okay? There's not a better food in the universe than vitamin S. There really isn't. Okay, now, okay. Even for you ladies that love chicken. Chicken's good for you. Not quite as good as steak, but it's good for you because it's got, in a serving, you get 37 grams of protein and 0 carbs. So you ladies that love chicken, it's all right. You can have it. Okay, now, I'm going to unpack this a little bit. Because this was part of their study. They said, okay, this is according to, not to them, but the studies that are, the World Health Organization says this. In 2017, not quite 5 years ago, 300 million people suffered from depression. and 260 million, like that's the pop, 300 million is just a little less than the population of the United States suffers from depression. I'm going to tell you something. This is 2017. Wait till they get the statistics after this pandemic. Wait. I've talked to you about this so many times in the last 18 months or so, that the big unintended consequences is what I call the Netflix syndrome. The Netflix syndrome is a reality check on what this has done, what this shutdown has done to people. It's not normal. It's not normal. It's divided families. I am so concerned about young people and depression and anxiety. I'll tell you what's killed, and I'm just talking about my hometown of Sudbury. What has killed far more, 10 times more people than the virus is suicides and overdoses. You want to talk about a pandemic? Desperate people, desperation, depression, anxiety, through the roof, guys. But this comes out of 2017. And the meta-analysis is looking at all the studies and said people that eat meat are much less depressed. Well, what's the connection? We'll talk about that in a minute. But what's happened, guys? Okay, like let's go before the lockdown, the pandemic. Let's look at before. What's happened in our world? It is for religious, not religion, but indoctrination, for environmental, for animal rights, and they after young people in school, in post-secondary education, even in kids. And then especially in the colleges and universities and indoctrination, the environment. And number two, the animal rights. So what this equals, okay? And I'm just giving you what I've seen and what I've been screaming about for really the last 20 to 30 years. You know what it is? If you are a vegetarian, or worse, if you're a vegan, I'm telling you nutritionally, clinically, you've made a horrendous mistake. And I don't care what the experts are saying. I really don't. I don't care what the World Health Organization is saying, although they're agreeing with me. I'm telling you that people that avoid the animal kingdom are making a big mistake. And the research is bearing it out. This one is on depression, anxiety. Well, what's the connection? The connection is there are certain nutrients that your body needs to function properly. Guys, I know we love eating, okay? And today that is probably way overemphasized. I mean, if you go back 100 years ago, do you think people didn't like eating then? Of course they did. But today it's like, I call it part of the Netflix syndrome. when you don't move much and, we're on social media and watching TV and all this and that, I mean, you're hungry. And the more food that we consume that is low in nutritional value, the more we want to consume. Why is that? Because it spikes your blood sugar. And what goes up in blood sugar must come down in blood sugar. Your body, think about this. Your body, on the worst of days, has less than a teaspoon, 4 grams, of sugar in it. Your blood. Blood is so toxic that is so tightly regulated. Your body does everything it can to get sugar out of your bloodstream, and in a nanosecond. Why is that? Because sugar is so dangerous. Isn't it funny that your body knows that, and yet the world doesn't know that? Your body knows, hey, don't give me sugar in my bloodstream. I can't take it. It's going to destroy my, first of all, capillaries. It's going to create a cascade of problems. So, body, get sugar out. That's what your body does every day. You can't have sugar in your bloodstream, so out, says insulin. And let's park sugar. Get it out, and we'll park it. And we'll park it. That's how your body operates. But if people insist on drinking, especially drinking sugar, in one soda, you have 12, 13 teaspoons. You're only supposed to have less than a teaspoon on the best of times in your bloodstream. Can you imagine what happens to your body when you drink one that has 13 to 14 teaspoons of sugar? Even Tropicana, orange juice. Never drink orange juice. Eat an orange. You want to eat an orange? You have my permission, except on the reset. For 30 days, no. But you can have an orange. Eat it. Don't ever drink it. Don't go to, what they call a juice bar. That's the worst stuff you can ever drink. You might as well have a Pepsi. Okay? You're drinking Tropicana orange. Oh, it's got fiber, Dr. Martin. I don't care. It's pure sugar. You were never meant, God didn't say drink orange juice. He said eat oranges. There's a huge difference. Don't drink apple juice, ever. If you're on an island dying of thirst, don't have juice. Okay? No, but I watch diabetics. They've got orange juice on the side, ready to drink it. Ooh, it gives me a splitting headache. Do you know what you're doing? So here's what's been happening to the population in general for the last 20, 30 years, especially. They bought the lie that meat's no good for them. So they've cut their consumption of meat. You cut the consumption of meat. You didn't cut your calories. But more than that, you are eating nutrient deficient food. There's nothing in sugar that helps you. There's nothing in processed carbohydrates, crappy carbs, that helps you. It's deficient in nutrients. Guys, I didn't pick eggs, meat, and cheese for nothing, honey. There's a reason for it. It's full of nutrition. It's got all your, one of the things, and you learn this first day in nutritional school. You learn about B vitamins. What are B vitamins? Well, they're essential. And you never hear me talking about taking a B supplement other than B12. We'll take that in a second. I always separate B12. I always do it. But let me just talk about B vitamins. B1, B2, B3, you know what I mean? You learn them all. First day in nutrition. But if you insist on eating carbohydrates, people that live on vegetables, and I'm not saying vegetables are no good for you. I'm not saying that. But don't think for a minute you are getting adequate B vitamins. You're not. You're not. You weren't meant for that. Your body needs high density nutrition. B vitamins in the molecules meant for your body to consume are found in eggs, meat, and cheese. Do you know that your brain doesn't operate properly without amino acids? And there are certain amino acids that you must consume. Your body makes amino acids, but there's some that you need to eat. Essential amino acids. And guess where they're found? I'll give you a second. Yeah. You got it. One of the classic findings in depression, classic, is they have insulin resistance. And they're usually carboholics and sugarholics that feed the bears in their gut. Because remember, you have more feel-good hormones, like dopamine and serotonin and GABA. You have more of that in your gut than you have in your brain. But you better not feed those bad bacteria, because that will disrupt your microbiome. And when you disrupt your microbiome, you can be headed towards depression. Even anxiety. And anxiety, by the way, leads to depression. 260 million people in 2017 were diagnosed with anxiety. 300 million were diagnosed with depression. That was 2017, guys. But one of the factors in that is what we're eating. Devoid of your nutrients that your body needs. We don't think of that because we think depression, it just happens. Guys, there's usually, I was a big guy on unpacking. People would come in depressed, and I'd unpack depression. I would look for deficiencies. That's what I did. My expertise was in clinical nutrition. Clinical meant I was looking for deficiencies. We tested for them. And I always started with food. And it didn't take long to realize that people were just eating so poorly. They never saw the correlation. And of course, when you're depressed, what do you want even more? It becomes a vicious cycle. You want what? Comfort foods. This is easy. It gives me a quick fix. It's like cocaine, man. Sugar's like cocaine. It's so addictive. And I don't feel good. Boom. And a lot of times, this is just what I've seen over the years. A lot of times, if you look at the population, guys, be very observant, okay? I'm trying to teach you to be observant. Look at people. Not to be critical, but to learn something. And you know what? You can't teach people that are not, I learned that over the years, okay? You can't teach people that don't want to learn anything, but you need to get it in your craw so that you understand. Like when I see someone that's obese, it's not as simple as, it's what they're eating. A lot of times it's hormones. It's a mess up of hormones. Way too much estrogen. Not enough progesterone. Their thyroid is messed up and nobody told them because their blood tests are coming back within normal limits. Their adrenals are secreting cortisol through the wazoo. And they're not metabolizing properly. And oftentimes they're deficient. Do you know that your metabolism doesn't work properly without B12? It just doesn't. You're missing an ingredient in your body, an essential vitamin that helps you to metabolize properly. So when someone came in and they just had enormous trouble losing weight, and you know what, doc, and if my doctor just says, okay, and I'm just going to repeat what's repeated millions of times of years in a doctor's office, eat less and move more. Eat less, move more. Eat less, move more. Well, if you got a metabolic problem, you got a hormonal problem, eating less and moving more is going to do nothing for you. You have to find out what deficiencies you have. And that's why I like this study, because it's saying, you know what? People that eat meat and love meat, they have a much less tendency to become depressed. Well, I knew that. I've been screaming that from the rooftops for a long time. Because it's got B12. Your metabolism doesn't work without B12. There was a doctor in the States, I'm just trying to think of his name now, it's escaped me for a second here. His whole thing, his whole weight loss program, I used to tell people, don't go spend money doing that. But he had some success. You know what it was? He gave you a B12 shot and starved you to death. Oh, what's that guy's name? It'll come to me. He gave you a B12 shot and starved you to death. 500 calories. I'm dead against that, by the way. Not against the B12, of course. You can take B12 and eat eggs, meat, and cheese, and you're going to do really well. The vast majority of people, the vast majority are low in B12. So I read a study like this. When I flagged this study the other day, I feel sorry for people. The amount of misinformation that is out there is absolutely incredible. Guys, listen. Your fat-soluble vitamins that you need, vitamin A, eat them. Vitamin D. Now, you need the sun. But remember, fat-soluble vitamin D, like even when you're in the sun, you get vitamin D. But to metabolize it properly, most people, they don't realize. They say, Doc, my vitamin D is low. How come? Well, you're not eating enough fat. Healthy fat. Don't eat bad fat. Bad fat are made from vegetable oils. When you go and have your chicken fingers, you go have French fries in the fast food chain. They cook it in the wrong oil. Instead of using lard or like they use, do you know that McDonald's used to use lard until the American Heart Association started screaming at them, said, you're going to cause heart attacks. And so they made them use vegetable oils like soy oil or canola oil. And all these are cancer-producing oils. Bad oils. Bad oils, bad food. Bad oils, bad food. It's what they cook it in. It creates a cascade of oxidizing free radicals. It's one of the things we talked about it the other day, aldehydes. Why is there so much lung cancer today? How can lung cancer when people got the memo that they quit smoking? Well, they're eating all this processed foods, processed oils, fast foods, middle aisles of your grocery stores. They're put in packages. They last. They're hydrogenated. Heated up oil. You want to know an oil that is good to heat up? Butter. Lard. That's a good oil to heat up. Coconut oil. You can heat it up to any temperature. Butter is like, Doc, how can I eat butter when I can't, you're keeping me off the toast and the bread. Yeah, but put it on your steak. You know, melt cheese. When you come out of the reset, melt cheese on your vegetables. Melt butter on your vegetables. There's nothing better for you. Because you need fat solubility. You see, that's why cheese, I talked to you about this the other day. That's why cheese is so good for you. Think about it. It's lots of fat and lots of protein. Butter, lots of fat, lots of protein. By the way, you know what helps? Is vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K. K, especially K2. I'm telling you, the more research they do on vitamin K2, it astounds researchers because it was, like I called it, the Rodney Dangerfield of vitamins, because it never got any respect. People didn't talk about it. I mean, now they know, holy moly, look what it does for heart disease. Vitamin K takes calcium. It helps to decalcify your arteries, hardening of the arteries. But it does more than that. It helps for you to absorb. It helps absorption of your nutrients. A lot of people are overfed and undernourished. That's what obesity is, in my opinion. It's being overfed and undernourished. You've got to get an obese person flipping the diet, not to calories. Don't count. That's the hardest thing for them because all their life they've been told to count calories, cut down. If you give me anything that counts calories, I'm going to tell you, run. If you give me anything, any kind of diet, I don't care how much money you pay, and you got to count points, run. Because the basic concept of nutrition, they've missed it. The basic concept of nutrition is you are what you eat, but even more than that, you are what you absorb. And if you are eating the wrong fuel, carbs, your cells will starve to death. They will always be screaming to give more fuel. I've used those illustrations for you for you to understand your body is like a wood stove. If you insist on giving it paper and twigs, and you expect energy or heat to come out of there, you're eating the wrong fuel. I watch people and they're eating the wrong fuel and they try and eat less of it. Oh, I'm just going to eat less calories. It ain't calories. It's vitamins. It's nutrients. It's fuel. Everything in your body relies on fuel. If you insist on giving it the wrong fuel, your body will be devoid. Your little battery packs within your cells, your mitochondria, you're releasing ATP. That's fuel released from your mitochondria, but it's not rocket fuel. Your car might run on 87 octane, but don't put 87 octane in a jet. You want your body to metabolize properly? If you want to stay away from depression, you got to give your body all the nutrients it needs. Now, I know there's psychological things. Like, guys, I took enough psychology in university just to be dangerous. That's why I love my Dr. McEwen. I mean, they teach psychology. But you ask Dr. McEwen the importance of good nutrition in psychology. Most psychologists, most psychiatrists, there's no connection. They don't connect the dots. And this study, this meta-analysis of thousands of studies, they came to the conclusion. People that eat properly, meat, they didn't talk about eggs, and they should have. And they didn't talk about cheese, because they could have. They could have and should have. When your body receives the fuel, the rocket fuel that it wants, It was designed by the designer, guys. The designer. Okay? I always tell people, you're a human being? Oh, you are? Okay. You live on what planet? Earth? Okay. That you have an address that's similar to mine. It ends with the planet Earth. Okay. You are meant to eat meat. You are meant to eat eggs. You are meant to eat cheese. You're meant to. You're not meant to live on sugar. Your body doesn't need it. It'll take a piece of steak and make it sugar if it's needed. Did you know that? But when it comes to your emotions, food has a huge consequence. And that's what this study said. And I'm thankful. And I remember, this study was 2017. Wait, folks. Wait. And nobody through this pandemic, or nobody, very few, and you know me, I've been consistent through this pandemic. Folks, eat right. It's more important than ever for even your emotional health. You can't control what the world's going to do. You can't control that. You can't control it. I wish I could. I'd slap politicians around. I would. We're always going to have viruses. We're always going to have it. What about our immune system? What about our health, guys? Like, all you're talking about is viral health. What about all other health? They've thrown young people under the bus. They really have. They say they're protecting them, but they're not protecting their mental health at all. And then they come up with the propaganda, from Bill Gates and the rest of them. Those so-called, Bill Gates, since when did he ever get a degree in nutrition? On the meatless craze. It's a craziness, guys. It's indoctrination. Coming to a theater near you. It's unreal. But you know what? We might not be able to stop the tide. But I tell you, until my dying breath, I am going to call it out for what it is. It's complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. Did I rant enough for you today, guys? I get a study like this and it sort of stops me in my tracks. I get frustrated. I feel sorry for people. I really do. You know that? I look at people, I feel sorry for them. I see people that are big and they're going around and people don't understand them. And, because some people go, you have such a lack of discipline. And I just go, nah, you're just eating the wrong fuel, man. And you happen to be a person that, you're in trouble because of it. And if I could just show you, if I could just teach you, if I can educate you on how your body operates, and for some people are canaries in the coal mine, they're more sensitive than others. But if I can teach that, and guys, that's my mission. It's good to have a mission, Okay. So, Friday question and answer. What is question and answer Friday? The reset. Have you got your copy? Have you got your Christmas list? Send it out to your friends. Send it out to your family. I know people, even in your own family, they might think you're crazy. You're crazy listening to that goofball, Dr. Martin, right? I've been called worse, guys. I've been called worse. I'm not looking for their approval. Okay, I don't do that. I promise you, I will speak the truth. That's what I do. I'm just going to tell you what's true. And I don't care if it's popular or not. Okay. We love you guys. And that's the truth, by the way. Okay? That's the truth. We appreciate you. Have no idea. Thank you for making this program so successful. Thank you for making our podcast, The Doctors in Podcast, so successful. Thank you for making the Reset book, which will save your life, by the way. So successful. It's you. It's not me. It's you. I'd be John the Baptist screaming in the wilderness if it wasn't for you guys. Okay, love you guys. Talk to you soon.